Hello everyone, welcome back to the US individual taxation class of the Enroll Agent program. In this class, we'll be discussing in detail about how to use prior year tax returns for filing the current year tax returns and identification of the residential status of the individual. So whether the people are resident or a non-resident alien. So let's understand more in detail. Welcome to the US taxation class for part 1. Right. In this part 1, we all know it's complete about individual taxation. So in the last class, if you remember, we have covered like the complete overview of what all things will be coming in the US taxation, right? Which include all the 5 chapters, like topic by topic. We have touch base like each topic, and I have given you like kind of overview of each and every topic. And then we discuss about like what are the tax laws based on which like the notes which I'm sharing and the book is being written, right? And I shared all those PDF file as well for the respective tax laws with you for your ready reference and for your future reference. Then we discuss in detail about like exam pattern as well. Like you'll be having like 100 multiple choice question and how much question would be coming from the which chapter, right? And then for passing score, 105 is required out of 130 score, right? Then we went on to the IRS website. We have scrolled through IRS website and seen what all features are being available over there. And then like what all forms templates are being available over there, what all tax laws guidance are being available over there. And then when you are doing in future practically about filing of income tax return, how you need to do that, filing of or you can say payment of advance tax, or you can say estimated tax, how you need to do those payments. Those all we have scrolled through the IRS website in detail. Then after, we spend good amount of time in going through like form 1040, right, which is for individual taxation form, like how to file the individual taxation, you can say tax returns. And that 1040 form, which is being required, or you can say is the form in which like information is being required for an individual to file the income tax return. There we discuss, like all the major category of the form, which include like type of the form, filing status, residential status, your basic details, your incomes, category of income, deductions, tax credits, and all the and the calculation of income tax, final tax payable, and any withholding tax, and then finally signing up. So we scroll through all complete 1040 as well in the last class. Then after, I think we discuss in detail about, you can say, the W2, W4s, and then we touch base on, you can say, the overview of complete 5 chapters, right? Maybe let me present my screen. I'll show you what all things we have covered in the overview section so that you can recall, and I'm sure like you guys have gone through the notes as well, which I've shared with you. In that also we have like complete details. So now if you see like in the notes section, yeah, can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Right, so we discuss about like these are the chapters, 5 chapters, and these are the topics and subtopics which we are going to cover in the entire individual taxation. So first we touch base on the preliminary work and taxpayer. So from where you will be expecting around 17 question will be coming in your exam. There we touch base on residential status, right? In today class, we'll be discussing the 1.1 residential status in complete details. So there we'll be discussing use of prior year return and the benefit of using the prior year return and what all information you can get from the prior year return. And then second is identification of resident and non-resident alien. So this will be covering today, and the second topic we'll be covering today is the taxpayer filing status, which is single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, head of the household, and qualified widower with the dependent child. So these 2 topics we are planning to cover in today class for more details, right? So these are the 2 topics we'll be covering today. And tomorrow we'll be covering sources of all income, And then in the next week, we'll be covering applicable adjustments, deductions, and applicable tax credits and the tax payments. So hopefully by end of next week, we may be very much close to end of this chapter also, right? And then if you've seen, like, next chapter is about income and assets. There also we have covered all type of incomes and all type of assets. Then we discuss on deductions and credits, which is around like 21 questions you can expect is coming from this chapter, where we'll be covering standard deduction and itemized deduction. And then we touch base on tax credit as well, right? And then fourth chapter is taxation and the advices. From taxation part, you'll be expecting around 17 question in your exam, and in advice part, you can expect around 12 question in your exam, right? And then last chapter is specialized return for the individual, in which we touch base on estate tax, gift tax, and international information reporting, right? So now we are jumping into main chapter 1. So today we are starting the main course. So in the last class, we have just done like complete high level overview, what all things you can expect in the individual taxation exam. And now we are jumping into the chapter 1 and the topic 1.1, which is residential status, right? So ready to dive into residential status?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay, sorry, I'm doing some formatting. Okay, so in residential status, there are two topics. One is use of prior year return, and the second is identification of residents and non-residents alien, right? If you see left-hand side, which is like use of prior year return. So I know some of you have experience of filing your income tax return or maybe of your client's income tax return. Do you refer to the prior year income tax return when you do the filings? Yeah, Divya, Vivek, Sachin.
Yeah.
So what all information?
Definitely.
Yeah. So what all information you look into the prior year tax return? Any idea or anything you can remember? Okay.
Depends, they're claiming their EIN, their social and their main sources of income.
Yeah. So if you see in the last class, you have seen then 1040. For example, you have filed your income tax return previous year, and now in this year you are planning to file your income tax return. So maybe you'll be looking at the previous year income tax return you have filed, or maybe let's say you are an enrolled agent, right? And let's say I'm your customer, right? So previous year you have filed an income tax return of mine, and now in this year I came back again and to you and requesting you to file my income tax return. Then probably you will look at the previous year income tax return, right? In that you will be seeing what was my filing status, whether I was single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, or filing as a head of household, or filing as a qualified widower, right? Those information you can look at from the previous year tax return, and then you inquire if there is any change to it or not, right? You might be seeing like my basic information like first name, last name, my PIN number, right? And then my address, and then you request like ask for me if there is any change in address, because like name will not change, my PIN number will not change. That's kind of like permanent. Once it's done forever kind of things, right? And if there is any change in my marital status, right? Those all information you may ask, but you will look at like the basic information from the previous year return which I have filed. And same way, you will get an idea whether this person has applied for the standard deduction or itemized deduction in previous year. Then you will see like why I've chosen like standard deduction or why I have chosen itemized deduction previous year. So you get some idea, right? Same way, you may get the information about how many dependents I do have, like do I have 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, or do I have like parents who are dependent on me? We have any sibling who are dependent on me or not, right? So filing of their information would be very easy for you rather than asking all thing from the fresh, right? Same way you will understand what are the source of income I had in last year. Then you can ask for like if there is any additional source of income or any removal from the source of income which I was having earlier, right? And then tentatively you may have idea like how much tax I do pay, how much credits I do have, how much advance tax or maybe withholding tax my employer may deduct, right? And then last year was that claim any refund for it, those things. So if you look at like this form 1040 of the previous year, you'll get all these basics idea, right? So same way, if you go now here into this file which I'm sharing with you, is it will be helping you to familiarize yourself with the following content of the individual, like their married filing status, right? Marital status, their residential status, their date of birth, their age, number of dependent, social security number or tax identification number, right? And the dependents, number of dependents I do have, and then bank details. Like generally, like these all are things commons or carry forward year over year, unless and until I do have made any change, right? And the sources of income, type of income, expenses, deduction, and credit, you may have an idea. And then identifying unusual changes to investigate. So if like in any of these, you may ask like, is there any change? Right? So if there is any change, then you just need to update that particular item, but rest of the item can be easily carry forward, right? Why I am asking this, like this prior year return is being important because when you file the income tax return nowadays, you file through the e-filing softwares, right? In that, these information go into their master data and it will automatically carry over in the next year. So you just need to click a button for the carryover and it will automatically carry over into the current year filing. Then you just need to ask to the client if there is any change, and wherever there is any change, you just need to update that information only rather than filling complete information again and again, right? And then if there was any carryover capital loss, business loss, charitable contribution, AMT credit. What is AMT? You guys remember? Any idea what is AMT? I think we discussed in the previous class. You really gone through the notes? Yeah, Rajat, Garima, Mayank, Divya. Huh? What is AMT? Don't remember? Do you remember this notes I have shared with you, which we discussed in the last class, the definition and terminologies? There's a one topic which is called alternative minimum tax. Right? Do you remember this topic? We touched base in the last class. Vivek, Divya, Mayank, Garima, Rajat. Do you remember this topic we touched base in last class?
No.
Yes.
Why no, Rajat?
Not able to recollect at the moment.
But you didn't ask any question which we have gone through in the last class. If you will not ask any question, then I'll presume like You're already aware of it, right? I don't have any other tool to identify whether you understood or not. It's only like when you guys will be telling me, then only I'll be in a position to understand whether you got it or not. Right? Alternative minimum tax. Last class we touched base where like the companies or the individual need to pay at least like minimum tax on certain income to the federal government. Right? We'll be discussing this topic in detail, but high level, the gist of the story or gist of the topic is the minimum tax that an individual have to pay to the federal government is called alternative minimum tax. If, for example, by the normal tax law, their tax liability is coming zero, but still there are few items on which that company or individual need to pay certain tax. That is called alternative minimum tax. In India, we called it MAT, minimum alternative tax, but in US, it is called alternative minimum tax. Right? Make sense? And that is being available as a credit in the future year when you have normal taxable income. Right? Any doubt on this? Familiarizing yourself with few things from the prior year return? Huh? Guys, please ask question if you are not comfortable. Otherwise, it will be a class, and then once class is over, then everything is gone, right? If you are really keen to pass the US taxation exam, then do ask the question.
Sir, just don't skip for a minute, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And so also there is it's written that help in familiarizing with marital status. So basically the subpoints that which are written like marital status, residential status, these are like the prior years written are used by those like okay
Yes.
the and sir just I was reading the green card holders, so that will be another topic you will need.
Yeah. So that we will be covering today. So here, like we'll be covering in detail about all the stuff which you are saying. Don't worry. So that's there in today's agenda to be covered in detail one by one. But as of now, just focus on use of prior year return. So for what purpose we'll be using prior year return? So that's the topic currently we are discussing. Like prior year return, like treat yourself as a US enrolled agent or US tax practitioner and treat me as your client, right? So if you have filed income tax return of mine in previous year, and this year again I come to you for filing of my income tax return, wouldn't it be very easy or helpful for you to go through the previous year return and gain an understanding about this basic information? Then you'll be asking only the specific question to me rather than whole lot of questions for filing of income tax return, which is being required maybe in the first time filer. Right? Make sense? Mayank, Rajat, Shubham?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
And this
Yes.
helps in ensuring the accuracy of the prior year return, and tax preparer can update information to the extent required in subsequent year based on the change in circumstances and life event such as birth, marriage, death, divorce, or that impact like tax filing status. So here, if you see like in the software, you have already filled all this information when you have filed previous year return, right? That can be easily carry over just by clicking a button to the next year. And in the next year, you just need a confirmation from the client whether there is any change in any of these status. If there is any change, then those specific item only you need to update for the current year. Otherwise, rest of the information will be auto populate into the software, right? And it will save a lot of your time. Make sense?
Yes.
So this is all about use of prior year return, right? Now coming to the second subtopic, which is identification of resident and non-resident alien. So what is resident alien? So the people who comes into these three categories are called resident, and the people who do not fall into these three categories are called non-resident, right? So have you heard about NRIs? Have you
Yes,
heard
sir.
about this term, NRI? What is the full form of NRI?
Non-resident Indians.
Non-residential.
Non-resident Indian, right? Same way in US, it is called non-resident alien. That means the people who are not green card holder, resident or citizen of the United States of America are called non-resident alien. So now, first let's understand about the resident alien. Who are resident? First one is who all are green card holder, right? Green card holder are considered as the resident of the country. Second is non-resident alien married to a citizen, right? When any NRI, when any non-resident alien, NRI means non-resident Indian, but when a non-resident married to the citizen of the United States of America, then that non-resident will be considered as a citizen or resident of the country. Make sense? Easy? As I'm going very slow, but if you are still having any challenge or doubt, just let me know. So for example, if you are an individual and you went to the United States of America on a tourist visa and you got married with any US citizen, then you will be considered as a resident of the United States of America for tax purposes. As simple as that, right? Second is taxpayer physically presented in United States of America for 31 day during the current year. That means in current year in which you have earned the taxable income, you are in US for more than 31 days. Second is 183 days during the 3-year period that include the current year and the 2 year immediately before that year. What is the current year? 2020-22?
Yes, sir.
Right? 2022, right? That's a current year. 2022 is a current year. So what they are saying, in the current year, you will be living in United States of America for more than 31 days, right? In the preceding 2 year, plus current year, the total stay would be more than 183 days. But how do you calculate that 183 days? Let's look at that. First is all the days you were presented in current year. That means in current year, if you have presented for 40 days, that all the 40 days will be counted. In the previous year, let's say you were in US for around 120 days. So then 1/3 of the days you were presented in the first year before the current year. That means in 2021, if you have lived there for 120 days, divide by 3. How many days?
40.
Divide by 3. How many days? 40 days.
40,
Right?
40 days.
So current year 40 days and previous year 40 days. Total is total is 80 days so far.
80.
Right? And before that, in the year 2020, 1/6 of the day you were presented in the second year before the current year. That means, for example, in 2020, you were there for 360 days, right? 360 divided by 6. How many days?
60.
60. 60 plus 80. What is the total number? 140.
140.
So that means you are in US for less than 183 days. Then you are not considered as a resident alien, right? For example, another example, or maybe I can draw through whiteboard. Let me quickly present whiteboard. Can you see the whiteboard? Can you all see my whiteboard?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So let's look at two examples. One example which we have discussed so far. So in the year, financial year 2022, financial year 2021, and financial year 2020. So you were in US, physically presented for 40 days, 120 days, and 360 days, right? So here it will be counted as 40 days complete. Here it will be divided by 3 is equal to 40 days, and here it will be divided by 6, 40 days. So total were 120 days. So that does not come up to 183. Minimum requirement is 183 days, right? Hence you are not the resident, right? Now here another example, if you are in US for 100 days, right, for let's say 180 days, and again let's say 240 days. So then, so you'll be calculated as 100 days here divided by 360 days divided by 6. How much days? 40. So total number is 200 days. So in this case, you'll be considered as resident, right? In this case, you'll be considered as non-resident. Make sense?
Sir, I have a small doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, actually, it's a basic doubt. So why you have taken divided by 3 and divided by 6?
That's mentioned in the law. If you see in the notes over here, let me present my screen. There is a formula given in the law. So to calculate 183 days during the 3-year period, that include, if you see this paragraph I'm talking about. So it say, how do you calculate this? All the days that you were presented in current year, right? 1/3 of the days you were presented in the first year before the current year, that means previous year, and 1/6 of the days you were presented in following previous year, like 1 year before the previous year.
Okay.
Right? So that's the reason you will be calculating in this fashion: 100% of the current year days, 1/3 of the previous year days, and 1/6 of the following previous year days. Right? Rajat, Garima,
Yes, sir.
Vivek. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
So resident alien follow the same tax rule as it is applicable to the citizen of United States of America. So for all the resident alien who are green card holder or non-resident alien who got married with the US citizen, or the taxpayer who are physically presented in United States of America for more than 31 days in current year and more than 183 days in the total 3 year, they will be considered as a resident alien, and all the resident alien would be would have to be abide by the same tax law that is being applicable to the citizen of the United States of America. Make sense? Now coming to the second category, which is non-resident alien. So non-resident alien are those who are not a citizen, neither a citizen of USA nor they are resident alien, right? All those people who do not fall in the category of citizenship or resident alien would be considered as a non-resident alien. Make sense? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? But the difference over here between the resident aliens and non-resident alien is on the taxable income. If you see the note 1 here, resident and citizen of the USA is taxed in the USA for all their worldwide income. That means if you are a resident of the United States of America, or if you are a citizen of the United States of America, then all of your world income, for example, you are earning some income in US, right? And then you have some business, let's say in China, you have some business in India, you have some business in Europe, or you have certain royalties might be coming from Australia, right? So all the income of the worldwide income will be taxed in the United States of America, but you will get the double tax avoidance agreement credits benefit. That is called foreign tax payment benefit. But all the income, global income, will be taxed in United States of America. For example, the company like Amazon, right? We all know the Amazon is US based company and they have presence in all over the world, right? So their income from all over the world will be taxed in the United States of America. However, they will be getting the foreign tax payment credit as per the DTA, right? The difference with the non-resident aliens is the non-resident alien of USA is taxed in US for all income earned in US. All income earned from the sources in US only. So for example, people like you, me, who go to the USA and we do, let's say, provide professional service or we do job, right? And we earn certain income over there. So we are being taxed only for the income which we have earned in the US or from the resources of the US, right? If I have, let's say, rental income in India, so that is not taxable in the US. Right? But I need to submit the information of my assets outside the United States of America when I'm filing the return. But my income outside the United States of America will not be taxed if I'm a non-resident alien. Make sense? Yeah? Mayank,
Yeah.
Yes,
Vivek,
yes.
Garima, Rajat.
Yeah, got it.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
So here also an example is given. You are physically presented in United States of America on 120 days in each of the year 2020, 2021, and 2022. To determine if you meet the substantial presence test for 2022, count the full 120 days of the presence of 2022, right? And 40 days, how you are calculating 40 days for 21? 120 divided by 3, right? And then 20 days of 2020, which is 120 divided by 6, right? So 120 plus 40 plus 20, how much is it? 180, right? Since the total of the 3 year is 180 days, you are not considered to be a resident under the substantial physical test for 2022. Right? Make sense?
Yes.
So now there is a small chart over here. This is like an extraction from like IRS textbook itself. So that helps you in identifying the residential status, whether a citizen or whether a person is a non-resident alien or a resident alien. First question, it says, where were you lawfully permanent residents of United States of America? That means, are you a green card holder? If the answer is yes, then go to the left hand side. You will see you are a resident alien of the US tax purpose, right? If you are a green card holder, that means you are a resident for the tax purpose, right? If the answer is no, then you will be asking second question. Were you physically presented in the United States on at least 30 days during the year? If the answer is yes, then you need to do the subsequent physical, or you can say previous 2-year physical residency test. If the answer is no, then it will straightforward go as a non-resident alien for the US tax purpose. But in the current year, if you have stayed for more than 31 days, then you will be asking next question, were you physically present in the United States for at least 183 days during 3 years period considering the previous 3 years, counting all the days presented by 1/3 and 1/6, right? Sorry, this number is old over here. This instead of 1/2 or 1/2, it should be 1/3 and 1/6. I'll update it, right? So these numbers are old. So I've taken from guidance of 2012. So this number I have
Kamalji,
updated.
can you zoom it out?
Yeah. Is it better now? Is it better now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'll update in the notes these two number. This is 1/3 and this is 1/6. So this is like old guidance from 2012 guidance note, but I'll update that before sending it to you, right? And if the answer is yes, you are physically presented in US for more than 183 days, then you'll be considered as a resident. If the answer is no, can you show that for 2012 you have tax home in the foreign country and have closer connection to that country than the United States of America? If answer is yes, non-resident alien, and if answer is no, then you are a resident alien. This is an old guidance. I'll update this one before I send these notes to you. But this is again summarizing what we have discussed over here in these 3 points. So whether you are a green card holder, if answer is yes, then you are a resident. If you are a non-resident and you got married with a citizen, then you will be considered as a resident. If you are a taxpayer physically presented in US for more than 31 days, then they will see the previous 3-year details also, right? In the previous 3 years, if you were in US for more than 183 days, right? How you will be calculating 183 days? We have done a couple of examples also. Then you'll be considered as a.
Sir, I have a question like, someone just got the, if someone just become the US citizen and his spouse is outside of the country, and will she be considered the resident alien?
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
If someone just become the US citizen and his spouse is outside of the United States, she will be considered the resident alien?
Yes, it will come in second point. So when non-resident alien married with the citizen, because if you are a green card holder, then you'll be a kind of citizen of United States of America. Okay. So then your spouse will also be considered as a resident.
Sir, you said if the spouse has visited on this non-immigration visas, then she is resident alien.
No.
Married in India.
Say that again.
Means अगर वो work visa या दूसरे visa पे अमेरिका जाके शादी किया है, then she is resident alien, not if she is married in India.
No, Shubham's question was different. Shubham is saying like my client is a green card holder and he got married with any non-resident person, right? So whether he married in United States of America or outside United States of America, it does not make any difference. The spouse with whom the client has got married will also be considered as a resident.
So actually, this is my case only. So I'll be, I'm a resident alien. That means
yes, you'll be taxed as a resident alien.
So I'm supposed to file my tax return, US tax return.
If you are filing a joint tax return, it will be very beneficial for both of you.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you.
You will see a lot of great benefit for filing joint return.
Okay, sir.
So you told that the married filed jointly and the qualified widow are the most useful one, right?
Yes, most preferred, yeah. Because tax makers are more sensitive toward like the personal problems. If someone is like qualified widower, so they understand they might be having like financial challenges or other problems, so they are very liberal for them also. And if you see like throughout the tax law, as in when we get more into detail, tax preparer are very much liberal for any medical issue or for child's or for education segment or for you can say innovation and research segment, and their tax policies are really very liberal, specifically in the areas which are sensitive for the human beings and which is being required for their country growth. So in these two areas, they are very much tax liberal.
Yes.
Cool. So far we are good for the residential status.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now one quick question. Which of the following is a green card test? Whether or not a taxpayer is lawful permanent resident of United States at any time during the calendar year 2021, whether or not a taxpayer is a US citizen at any time during the calendar year, whether or not income tax return are filed using certified mail return receipt request, the green card at the US Post Office. None of the other above choice describe the green card test. So green card test mean like residency test, for example, for the tax purpose. Which option you feel is more appropriate and why? Now, this kind of question you will be encountered in your
Number 4,
exams.
sir.
Number 4, none of the answer choices. Good. Why?
Sorry, is like none of the option explains the green card test, because for the green card test they have to meet like the condition of the resident alien.
Yeah. Any other thought?
Sir, I want to know about the third point, sir. What is like certified mail return receipt requested?
Yeah, we will discuss
What's
that
that?
also.
Okay.
But you know what answer you feel is right and why?
Sir, if I got to know about third answer, then I'll maybe able to answer.
Okay, so third answer it's saying whether or not income tax return are filed using certified mail return receipt request, the green card at the US Post Office. So it's saying like as a green card holder, you can file the income tax return through the mail, like how we drop by the speed post and we get the acknowledgement whether the person has received that or not. So it mail return receipt means certified mail return receipt mean UPS basically, through which you get like intimation whether the receiver has received the mail or not.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah, Rajat, Garima, Divya, what's your thought? So this green card test is not for the visa purpose, but this is for considering the.
Does this mean a resident of green card test? What is green card test? Is it like a resident of US or a
Yes.
non-resident alien? What
No,
is the condition? What
yeah,
is it
file.
asking?
Yeah, so it means like filing of return as a resident or non-resident.
Okay, so there are 2 or 3 conditions that were mentioned above. One is the resident should be a green card holder. Then there was a condition for 183 days. So if an individual meets those criteria, I think is that the answer for this question?
No, the question like this kind of tricky question you will be encountered in exam. So the trick is that they want to understand from you which of the following test should an individual pass to consider for filing status as a resident?
The substantial present test.
So which one? Like first option, second option, third option, fourth option?
Well, it depends if that individual is a resident or not.
How will it?
So as you just told about the 183 days condition about the substantial present test.
Yeah.
We can
So
use
which option you feel is more appropriate?
number 4.
Number 4 is none of the choice describe the green card test. So like 1, 2, 3 all are wrong, you're saying, you mean to say, Shubham? The fourth will be right only when 1, 2, 3 are wrong.
बहुत ही सही लग रहा है क्योंकि 3 का पता नहीं चल रहा.
नहीं, 3 में तो it's normal है ना. You can file through the email or through the mail. Mail mean post.
It's written whether or not. If it is not written not, then the one has to be a US citizen or lawful.
So we can go for the option 1 also, because if the as per the substantial presence test, we have to use the 3 calendar years, including the current calendar year and the last 2 calendar years.
Yeah, Rajat.
First and second.
But why first?
Permanent is the green.
Let's interpret it one by one. The first it's saying whether or not a taxpayer is lawful permanent resident of USA at any time during the calendar year. So do you need it any time during the year, or you need it specific physical presence for more than 31 days and more than 183 days?
Physical presence of 31 and 183.
Right? So not any time, right? So here the point is
second option, then
not
second
any
option.
time. So now looking at the second option, it's saying whether or not a taxpayer is a US citizen at any time during the calendar year.
Here also it is saying
it's a US citizen.
Anytime.
Resident and citizen. Citizen is always be considered as a resident. Whether you are in US or not.
Second
right?
option.
The difference is
Correct.
Citizen over here.
Sir,
Right?
but sir, US citizen होगा वो तो already citizen है sir.
Yes. So if he or she is a US citizen, they will always be considered as a resident of United States of America.
So उसके लिए
whether they are in US for more than 31 days or not, whether they are in US for more than 183 days or not. If you are a US citizen, then you will be always be considered as a resident for the tax purpose.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Shubham, Divya, Rajat?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Vivek? Garima?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Got it? Okay.